All right, get ready to dive deep today because we're tackling something pretty big.
Big and powerful,
Oh,
hopefully.
yeah, definitely powerful. We're talking about first principles thinking.
Ooh, I like that. Stripping things down, getting to those core truths.
Exactly. Like, no more assumptions, just those fundamental building blocks of, well, anything really. And, we've got some really interesting sources lined up for this.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
A bunch of articles, actually. But the one that really caught my eye was this YouTube video from Freedom and Thought, that channel.
Oh, yeah. Those guys always get you thinking.
They really do.
Yeah.
But, they also make it fun, which I appreciate.
Absolutely. And it's not just about thinking differently, right? It's about what that different thinking can unlock, like better decisions, creative breakthroughs. I mean, they even talk about how Elon Musk uses this approach.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. Like the whole SpaceX thing, totally rethinking how to build rockets.
Exactly. So let's get down to it. What are these first principles and, why should we even care?
Yeah, that's the big question. What's the point of all this?
Well, think of it like this. They're the DNA of an idea.
Okay, DNA. I'm listening.
Instead of just seeing, let's say, an apple on a tree,
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
we're looking at everything. Like the roots, the soil, that whole system that created that apple in the first place.
So it's not just about the what. It's about the how, and maybe even the why.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, this thinking, it applies to way more than just apples, or even just science.
Right, like how so?
Well, look at, say, Netflix. Back when everyone was renting DVDs by mail, they asked themselves, what's the real need here?
Yeah, what were they really providing?
And they realized it wasn't about the discs themselves. It was about convenient, on-demand entertainment.
So that little shift, that's what led to streaming, and, well, I guess we know the rest. Wow, so they kind of sidestepped the whole conventional wisdom thing, which I guess is kind of what you're talking about, right? This deeper thinking.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Conventional wisdom, it can be useful sometimes, but it can also be, well, flat out wrong.
Like, can you give me an example?
Sure, take sleep. Everyone says we need 8 hours.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard.
But that's just an average, right? Our needs are way more individual.
Huh. So sticking to that could actually mess up my sleep.
Exactly. Sometimes those truths everyone throws around, they can really hold us back.
Interesting. Now, this whole approach of questioning everything, this isn't exactly new, is it?
No, not at all. You know who was big on this? Aristotle.
The philosopher dude.
Yeah, but he was also a scientist. He was all about understanding those fundamental causes of things. He even had this quote, something like, we think we know something when we think we know the primary cause.
So it's all about knowing the why, huh? And that's been a big deal for centuries. But besides revolutionizing movie rentals or figuring out our sleep, how does this help us day to day?
Well, let's say you want to learn a new skill. Anything, really.
Okay, like what?
Doesn't matter. Most people focus on the techniques.
Right, the steps.
But a first principles thinker would ask, what are the elements of any skill?
I'm intrigued. What are those?
Well, things like focus, feedback, the way you break down complex tasks. Get those down, and learning anything new becomes easier.
So it's like having one key that fits any lock. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But how do we even start thinking this way? Where do we begin?
Honestly, it all starts with that childlike why.
You mean like when kids keep asking why
Yeah.
about everything?
Exactly. Don't just accept things at face value. Dig deeper. Why do we do things this way? What are we assuming? And most importantly, are there better ways?
So it's about being a bit of a rebel, huh? Kind of like that.
Exactly. And there's this great technique they talked about in that YouTube video, building hierarchies.
Hierarchies, huh? Sounds kind of complicated.
Not really. Say you're dealing with a big problem, you break it down to its core parts, then you arrange those parts in a hierarchy to see how they all connect.
Okay, so question everything, break it down, then map it out. This is starting to sound pretty powerful. But can we get a real-world example, something a bit more, I don't know, relatable than building rockets?
Sure. Let's take something we all deal with. Feeling overwhelmed.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Instead of just saying, I'm stressed, break it down.
Okay, so like, what exactly is stressing me out?
Right. What are the individual stressors? How are they connected? By understanding the root cause, you can actually target solutions that work.
So instead of just feeling lost in a sea of to-dos, you're creating a map of the problem, huh? That's pretty cool. Okay, so we're starting to see how this works, but I'm guessing there are times when all this deep thinking might not be the best approach, right?
Oh, for sure. You don't need to analyze every little thing.
Like if I'm picking out cereal at the store, I don't need to go full Aristotle on that, do I?
Exactly. And that actually brings up another point that Freedom in Thought made, the potential downsides, the dangers of this kind of thinking.
Ooh, dangers. Now I'm really intrigued.
It's not physical danger, but more about the challenges that come with, well, thinking differently. Like when you start questioning everything.
Why happens? People get uncomfortable.
Well, it can ruffle some feathers.
So it's like being that kid in class who always asks, why? Even when everyone's like, just move on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great to have that questioning spirit. It really pushes things forward. But sometimes it can make you seem like, well, like you're always disagreeing.
Right, like a contrarian or something.
Yeah, and especially in situations where everyone's supposed to, just go along with things.
Where fitting in is important.
Yeah, people can get defensive, even hostile when you start questioning things they really believe in.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess not everyone's ready to question everything.
Hmm.
Sounds like social friction is a real concern.
It can be, for sure. And there's another potential pitfall, too. Analysis paralysis.
Analysis paralysis, that sounds intense.
It is. It's when you get so caught up in the details, breaking everything down, that you can't make a decision.
You overthink it.
Exactly. Or you're so scared of missing something, you just get stuck.
Oh, I totally get that. Like when you're researching something you want to buy, and you just spend hours comparing every little detail.
Right, and you end up feeling more confused than before.
Yeah, totally. So first principles thinking, it's a tool, not a trap, right?
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut and go with it.
Right. Intuition's important too. But what about, the limits of our own knowledge? Even when we try to get to those core truths, can we ever be totally sure we're seeing the whole picture?
That's a really important point. We all have blind spots, right?
Yeah. We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. And even with the best intentions, we might miss things or just have the wrong assumptions.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about being open to learning more.
Yeah. Always be willing to update your understanding as you go.
It's a journey, not a destination, right? Now, I'm really starting to see how complex this all is. It's definitely not some quick fix like a magic bullet or anything.
Yeah. Right. And that brings us to something else that Freedom in Thought emphasized, the importance of finding your tribe, so to
Your
speak.
tribe. What do you mean?
The people who get it. When you're thinking differently, it can be lonely. You might not connect as easily with people who are comfortable with, well, just accepting things the way they are.
It's like you're speaking different languages almost.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who challenge you, who encourage you to think critically, who appreciate your unique perspective.
People who get excited about diving deep, just like us.
Haha, exactly. So even though there are these potential downsides, it seems like the benefits of first principles thinking really outweigh the risks. It's about being aware of those challenges and finding ways to work with them.
So it's a powerful tool, but like any tool, you got to know how to use it safely and effectively.
Exactly. And for people who are just starting out with this, one of the simplest but most powerful things you can do is honestly just ask more questions. Don't just take things at face value.
Keep that childlike curiosity alive.
Right. Why is this done this way? What are we assuming here? Are there better ways? Asking those questions, that's the spark that gets first principles thinking going.
It helps us break free from those old ways of thinking and see new possibilities.
Exactly. And remember those hierarchies we talked about before? They can be really helpful too.
Visualizing the elements of a problem, yeah.
Right. It helps you see the big picture, how things connect.
Okay, so we've got our questions, we've got our maps. What else can we do to really integrate this into our lives?
Experiment. Don't be afraid to try applying this to different areas of your life.
Okay, so start small.
Exactly. Like your morning routine, then, work your way up to bigger challenges.
So instead of hitting snooze 5 times, I could actually figure out why I'm struggling to get up.
Exactly. Maybe you need more sleep, or maybe you need a more inspiring way to start your day. Whatever it is, understanding those root causes can help you find solutions that actually work.
So it's about becoming like a scientist of your own life, right? Observing, experimenting, figuring out what works best for you.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey. You'll have setbacks, moments of doubt, but the key is to stay curious and keep experimenting.
I love that. This deep dive has been so eye-opening. It really has. I feel like I'm seeing the world in a new way. And I'm excited to start putting these principles to work.
It's been great sharing this with you. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought, something to really chew on.
Ooh, a final thought. I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Think about this. What area of your life, just feels stuck, like it's on autopilot, maybe even running on some outdated truths?
That's a good one. It could be anything, huh? Like our jobs, our relationships, how we spend our free time even.
Exactly. And it's in those areas, where first principles thinking can really make a difference. It's about peeling back the layers, questioning everything, seeing things with new eyes.
It's like instead of just tidying up, you're questioning the whole structure of your house. Like, do I really need that wall? Maybe I need a whole new wing.
Haha, exactly. You become the architect of your own life. You're not just accepting things, you're actively shaping them based on, well, what really matters to you.
That's pretty powerful. But doesn't all this questioning and challenging, I mean, could it make us too critical or cynical even?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that this isn't about turning into some skeptical robot.
Yeah, we don't want to lose that sense of wonder.
Exactly. It's about balance between critical thinking and being open-minded, between questioning and appreciating how complex everything is.
So it's not about tearing everything down. It's about building something better.
Yes. Something more authentic, more meaningful, and that's where the real magic happens. When we combine this way of thinking with curiosity, a sense of wonder, even a bit of playfulness.
That's when the real creativity comes out.
Exactly. That's when we can really make a difference.
Wow, this has been an amazing deep dive, seriously. I feel like I've got a whole new set of mental tools now, and I'm ready to start using them.
It's been great exploring this with you. And remember, this whole first principles thing, it's a lifelong journey. Embrace the challenges, stay curious, and never stop questioning.
And to everyone listening, we hope this has sparked your own curiosity and given you that little push to challenge things to think differently. Remember, you have the power to unlock your potential. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into first principles thinking.